Well, good evening and welcome to Channel 8 Sports and East Brunswick High School Gymnastics. And tonight we're bringing you the girls team as they are part of a tri-meet against North Brunswick and St. Mary's. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro, and I'll be with you this evening as we cover the Lady Bears. Home tonight, trying to improve on a 1-1 record. And the order of events so that you'll know what we'll be covering. The Bears will start off on vault, move to bars, onto beam, and to floor. East Brunswick comes in with a 1-1 record, as I said, and also as the 1990 GMC champion. So they're defending their championship. They were 12-1 last year under then first-year coach Lisa Scarano. Lisa now in her second year, and they have a very seasoned team, as we'll talk about as the night goes on. You can see the ladies now stretching, East Brunswick in the green and white leotards. They're getting ready for the vault. In girls competition, each gymnast gets 2 vaults, and the better score is the score that is taken. As in the past here on Channel 8, in meets of this nature, that is a tri-meet, we'll only be following East Brunswick. So from time to time, you will see us fade to black and then come back up. And that is for the purpose of waiting for the Lady Bears to go to the next event. And you saw the first vaulter for East Brunswick, and that was Delia Hollerith doing a handspring. Delia is a senior and one of the captains of the Lady Bears. On deck will be Monica Bausma. And it looks as though Delia will only take 1 vault, and that's the option of the gymnast and/or coach. So Monica will be up next. Getting ready. You see Monica with a knee brace on. We'll bring you the scores as we go along. Monica with a handspring, very nice extra step, if you will, or hop after landing, and that will be a deduction. You see Coach Scarano talking with her, and she'll get an indication of what that score is for that vault. And I think she's going to have Monica do it again. In vaulting, if you've never watched gymnastics before, particularly women's gymnastics, judges are looking for good speed down the runway, good takeoff from the board, what they call amplitude. They must touch the horse, not ride on the horse, that is roll over the horse, but repel from the horse, and they're looking for good distance and height afterward. Lisa with a half on and a half off, stumbled again on the landing, and that could be that right knee, favoring it just a bit. The score for Delia Hollerith on vault was 7.6. So Monica has completed the vaulting event, and up next will be Meredith Garofalo. Meredith is a junior, and you may recall seeing her last year competing here on Channel 8. You could see in the foreground one of the young ladies from North Brunswick High School who is up on the uneven bars. And they're working 2 events at the same time. So it will not be unusual for you to see different gymnasts moving about in the screen beside the East Brunswick girls. Judges take a long time in this sport, so you need to be patient, and that's what we're waiting for. And we're waiting for the score for Monica. An 8.0 and an 8.3, which will come out to about an 8.1 average. Meredith, a nice handspring. You can see the distance from the horse. Good amplitude. And she should get a good score on that vault. in determining who is to go up on an event first, what the coach generally tries to do is save the better performer, if you will, for the fourth spot or the last spot. And the rationale behind that is that you don't want your top performer being judged as the first one, where the judges tend to be very critical, not having seen any routine. We'll get back to that in a moment. Here is Meredith. Half on and a full off. Again, another good vault. And she should score well. Meredith Garofalo. Just to get back to that thinking process in terms of what gymnast you put up first through fourth. Again, the idea is that a gymnast who you know is maybe just beginning on a piece of apparatus or just learning some tricks, those are the gymnasts you would want to put up early in the routine. Let the judges see that, and you want to save your better performer on that piece of equipment to the last spot, which also suggests to the judges that they are the best on that event this particular evening, and so they look at them in a different way. So there's a lot of strategy involved beyond what you might think in gymnastics. Waiting for the scores for Meredith. And on deck you see Lori Herbert, and she is the fourth gymnast on this event for East Brunswick, which again suggests that she may be the more skilled at this point and looking to get the better score, the higher score. Doesn't necessarily work out that way. A girl could have a bad event and actually finish below the others, but that's the strategy. Lori is a senior and captain, and you see her getting ready. She's acknowledged the judges. Lori, good run. Nice amplitude off the horse on a handspring. Again, that hop is a deduction. Could be up to half a point. Scores for Meredith Garofalo were 8.1 and 8.4. Lori's going to go back. Looks like she's going to try some sort of twisting move on either on the horse or as part of the dismount off. Lori is East Brunswick's top all-around, averaging 34 points in the all-around competition for the Bears. She was a member of the GMC all-conference team in '89 and '90. And Lori tells us that her strongest events are beam and floor X. As she gets ready for her second vault. Half on, full off, very nice. Very nice vault. Wouldn't be surprised to see high eights on that. We'll wait to see. So the Lady Bears have finished their first event, and that is vaulting. They will move on to the bars as soon as the bar competition is freed up, and so in all likelihood they will sit for a few minutes as the other two teams finish up. And we'll hold on here a second and look for a score for Lori Herbert. And you can see the judges on the right of your screen conferring. And it's basically around perception. What did one judge see versus the other? They're talking about what they call breaks or deficiencies in the routine. For example, knees, legs bent, toes not pointed, arms bent on the horse, low amplitude or dismount either going on or off the horse. Those are the kind of things that they're looking for. And they're totaling their deductions. Each one is a deduction to arrive at a score. And obviously 10.0, as you know, is the perfect score. And so all the deductions are subtracted away from that. Each vault has a value. Some vaults obviously have a 10 value. Others have less value based on the difficulty and skill required. much like in diving or similar to diving. Well, here we go. Lori Herbert scores 8.8 and 9.0. So Lori, who says her best events are beam and floor, does quite well, much like the other bears, on the vault. And just quickly to run down the scoring. Delia Hollerith for East Brunswick scored a 7.6. Monica Bausma scored an 8.1. Meredith Garofalo an 8.1 and an 8.4. And again, you just need to average those together. And Lori Herbert 8.8 and a 9.0. So East Brunswick completes its first rotation, and we ask that you be patient and stay with us. We'll be right back with the next rotation for the Bears, which will be bars. Well, you can see the Bears at the uneven bars, setting the bars, adjusting the bars, and the bars are adjusted for each gymnast, and the adjustments are based around the gymnast's height, and more importantly, the distance between the torso and legs, since as you are well aware, much of the movement on the uneven bars is around the hips using the lower bar. While I have a moment, let me read to you the names of this year's Lady Bears. And we mentioned Lori Herbert, who is captain, a senior. Delia Hollerith, the other captain, a senior. Meredith Garofalo, junior. Dana Monona, who is injured her wrist. I understand from Coach Scarano she'll be back in a couple days, but is not competing tonight, and she's only a sophomore. Vicky Chan is sophomore. Sarah Newman, sophomore. Monica Bausma, a freshman, and Valerie Goldstein, another freshman. So as we mentioned at the top of the show, East Brunswick coming in as defending GMC Red champions with a 12-1 record last year and 1-1 this year. Tri-meet on their home court, if you will. And it's always nice to compete at home. You're very familiar with the equipment, the lighting, which is very important for a gymnast. And we're ready to go on the unevens. First up will be Delia Hollerith. Delia, nice straddle over the low bar. Straddles back again to the low bar. Girls need to move between bars. Nice drop straddle there. A little bit of a hesitation, a little break. Delia's working them well. Kip up, and for her dismount, a flyaway. That was Delia Hollerith, first up for the Bears. And just some background on the uneven bars, as we have seen. The gymnast is expected to use both bars, that is the low bar and the high bar, move between in a combination of methods or ways. Certainly the more difficulty that is used or attempted between the bars, the higher the score. And each trick that you see has a certain degree of difficulty. So all of this is what comprises the final score, what the judges base their score on. The secret to uneven bars for the gymnasts, particularly women, is a pushing and pulling motion, which then allows the hips to be raised or lowered as needed. And as anyone who knows anything about physics will tell you, the secret here is the center of gravity of the body. And let me say that it's much easier to say than to do. All right, this is Meredith Garofalo. She too starts with a split leap over the low bar and again back. Nice toe on, forward roll. Long hang kip. Front hip circle and her flyaway. Nice clean routine by Meredith Garofalo. Waiting for the scores for Delia. And you see Coach Scarano in your picture with the, what is sometimes called the beat board or the spring board. And on floor X, on even bars, just like the horse, In vaulting, the gymnast is allowed to use the springboard to mount, and then that board must be moved away immediately by the coach. I understand that Delia Hollerith's scores uneven were 7.2 and 7.2. Up next for the Bears will be Monica Bausman. Monica, a little trouble getting over that low bar. She stepped on it. That is a deduction. Again, Monica's only a freshman, so a lot of talent here. You can see she possesses a lot of energy. A little bit out of sync, and those hips get ahead of you. And a nice flyaway. If your hips get ahead of you on uneven bars, it's very hard to control and maintain a rhythm, which is so critically important in this event. Scores for Meredith Garofalo were 7.7 and 7.5. And I think Monica a little disappointed on that routine. And she'll learn. She's very young. And Coach Scarano sees her as someone to keep an eye on in the future. A lot of talent with that young lady. Monica Bausma will be up next for the Bears. Monica, freshman. And I'm sorry, Lori Herbert up. That was Monica. I'm waiting for Monica's scores. And I think we're going to have a conference. You see the judge walking over to the other. And here again, it's a matter of what one judge saw or didn't see and the amount of the deductions. For the most part, the coach is to stay out of these kind of discussions. And so it's very rare that you'll see a coach talk to a judge or an official about any score that was posted or thought about being posted. And one thing in gymnastics is it's kind of hurry up and wait approach. And that is because of conferences between judges, setting equipment. And quite honestly, the routines go so quick that a meet of this type can go by quite quickly. Yeah. All right, here we go. Lori Herbert. You see she's mounting from the back. Nice work on the low bar. Lori very strong. Back to the high, straddles over. And a flyaway. So a good solid routine for Lori Herbert. And I believe the scores for Monica Bausma were 7-7 and 7-5, but we'll check that out for you as we wait the scores for Lori Herbert. Okay, I stand corrected. Monica Bausma's scores on uneven were 7.7 and 7.9. So East Brunswick looking very good after 2 events. Averaging in the mid-8s on vault, and now here are the high 7s on uneven bars. Lori Herbert scores 8.5 and 8.5. So again, just to run down the scoring if you're keeping it at home. Delia Hollerith, 7.2 and a 7.2. Meredith Garofalo, 7.7 and a 7.5. Monica Bausma, 7.7 and a 7.9. And Lori Herbert, 8.5, 8.5. So that'll complete East Brunswick's rotation on the uneven bars, and their next event will be balance beam, and we'll be back with that action in just a moment. Welcome back. While we were away, there was a little change in the order of events, and I think it's more to keep the meet moving. So East Brunswick, rather than competing on balance beam now, will move over to the floor exercise, and this is, I believe, Meredith Garofalo. Yes, it is, and she'll be first up for East Brunswick. And as you know, music accompanies each routine. In this event, judges are looking for both tumbling or aerobatics as well as dance. Meredith for a first tumbling pass and a back summit, pike back, very nice. Meredith was a member of the 1990 GMC All-Conference team. And a nice back summy after flip-flops. Strongest events are vaulting and floor, very polished and with clean routines, was how Coach Scarano characterized this young gymnast. Pirouette with a little artistic bend to it. Girls required to do 4 tumbling passes. Meredith finishing up with back handsprings into a back summy, tuck back summy. Split leap, side leap. And Meredith Garofalo on floor. Nice routine. Very tiring event. She came off and looked at her coach and said, boy, a lot of tumbling. It certainly is. Up next is Monica Bausma. Monica is the freshman, as we mentioned, and she feels that her strongest events are floor X and beam, and so we'll get a chance to see her on floor X. I believe Monica will be doing a full twist in her first pass. You can see her practicing. That's what they call a set pull, and that's just so that she understands once she gets up in the air, the action that she needs to initiate the full twist. Had a chance to talk with Coach Scarano again, her second year at East Brunswick. She was Coach of the Year in the GMC last year. Great distinction, particularly in her first year. And she wanted me to mention that East Brunswick High School, the Lady Bears, will be hosting the GMC individual championships here at the high school October 31st, Halloween. So if you have some time, come on out. You'll see some great gymnasts and some great gymnastic events. Here we go with Monica. Okay, Monica's going to get set up now for her twist. You hear the kids urging her on. Round off flip-flop, full twist. She pulls it through. Very nice. Set up again for her second pass. Front step out into flip-flops into a back summy. Vibrant, alive type of music. And there must be a music change. The music must change in beat and tone and mood. The gymnast must change accordingly. layout. And Monica's looking real well. Monica Bausman for East Brunswick. Waiting for the scores for Meredith Garofalo. And we'll get those to you shortly. Due up next for East Brunswick is Lori Herbert. And East Brunswick's only competing 3 girls tonight on floor. Scores for Meredith Garofalo were 8.4 and 8.5. Lori Herbert, you see her kind of center stage, if you will, on the Florex mat. And while we have a little break, I want to remind our audience that there is another home girls gymnastics meet October 10th, and that will be against Highland Park, Shawnee, another tri-meet. And the Lady Bears entertain Madison Central on October 15th. Hunterdon Central on October 22nd. And as I mentioned, the conference championships, the individual championships, will be here at East Brunswick on October 31st. So if you have a chance, come on out and support these young ladies. They work hard, and I know they would appreciate the support. I'm pleased to say that at least this year there are a few more people in the stands, but certainly not near enough to really spur these young ladies on. Very deserving of it. They're athletes like many athletes here at East Brunswick High School, with a great deal of pride and former champions. Monica Bausman score 8.4, 8.4. And Lori Herbert. Gets set up for her flip-flop whip back, flip-flops full twist. Very difficult tumbling pass. A lot of difficulty in that first pass. She should score well, as long as she doesn't have any major form breaks throughout the remainder of the routine. Nice high leap. Step out into back step out. Change now in music. You can see that Lori slows down the pace. A lot of ballet type movement. Now getting ready as the music starts to increase in volume and tempo. To another full twist, a little low, but she pulled it out. Lori Herbert, one of the captains for the Lady Bears, finishing up on floor. And you see her with her coach, Lisa Scarano. I'd tell you, a lot of fun, a lot of good times when you're part of a gymnastic team. You could see it, these ladies work hard, but they enjoy each other. More importantly, they support each other. And that's why I urge you at home to come out and see a gymnastic meet, boys or girls. East Brunswick has an outstanding tradition of gymnastics and are known throughout the state for both their boys and girls programs. Waiting for Lori Herbert's scores. And now East Brunswick will eventually move over to beam as we wait for the St. Mary's and North Brunswick teams to finish up. And as soon as we get Laurie's scores, we'll take a little break and come back with the final event. And should be near now. See some gymnasts moving over toward the beam. That's from North Brunswick. And it looks like we're going to have a little conference here. One of the judges sees something they may not understand. There's a head judge at every event. I failed to mention before. That judge has the responsibility to be sure that the scores are within reason, if you will, or within the range. And generally it's a 1-point range. So one judge could score 7.9, another judge could score no lower than a 6.9 or no higher than an 8.9. And that keeps the consistency and uniformity in the scoring process. I see a 9.1 as one score. Waiting for the other to be flashed, 8.9. So quickly, let me recap the scoring for Floor X for East Brunswick. Meredith Garofalo had an 8.5 and an 8.4. Monica Bausma had an 8.4, 8.4. And Lori Herbert had a 9.1, 8.9. And with that, we'll take our little break and get ready for the last event of tonight. That'll be balance beam. Stay with us. Well, you see Coach Scarano with the first competitor on balance beam for East Brunswick, and that'll be Vicky Chan. Vicky is a sophomore. And as we mentioned, this is the last event this evening for the Lady Bears. And beam is about 4.5 inches wide. It is padded. Years ago it was not. But for the safety of the gymnasts, it is now padded. The gymnast is expected to do both dance and tumbling on the beam. And the progression of tricks, or the combination of tricks, obviously results in a higher score. And that is without any breaks or falls. Not uncommon to see gymnasts fall off the beam. It's probably, without a doubt, the most difficult piece of apparatus to work. It also can be one of the most beautiful events to watch. So with that in mind, we'll get ready to watch Vicky Chan. Waiting the approval or the official nod from the judges to go ahead and begin. Beam is timed, and on occasion, girls are warned that their time is nearly up, and so they usually dismount right after that warning. Have not seen that tonight happen, so. And this is nerve-wracking for any gymnast. You see Vicky standing, waiting, and having been in that position, I can speak from experience, and you feel like every eye in the house is watching you. And so you'll see the gymnast fidget around, and you can see it on her face. She's a little bit nervous. She wants to get this going. Takes a certain amount of courage to get up there, and then when you have to stand around like this. So Vicky will take a few minutes, and while she has some time, she'll practice her pirouettes and turns, and just to stay loose and probably to keep her mind occupied. And Coach giving a few words of encouragement. And you can see the judges up in the right-hand portion of your screen, and they're the reason why we're waiting. Quite honestly, I have to admit that high school gymnastics is run quite efficiently. Meets last no longer than an hour and a half. And a meet like this, a tri-meet, it's just been over an hour. And for the most part, the girls are on either their third or last rotation. So a nice job here at East Brunswick in setting up the meet structure and running the events. 2 judges, 2 events running at the same time, all helps to speed up the process. And it's a long night for these young ladies as well. From school, they come back to compete. Here we go. Vicky Chan for East Brunswick. Again, using the board as a way to mount. Back walkover, and you see a second. Now, the degree of difficulty increases if she could do those 2 back walkovers without the little hesitation, but that will come. Again, she's only a sophomore. There's nice presence on the beam, good control. And again, you see ballet and tumbling movement. Leaps and cartwheels and other movement on and off the beam is required. You see Valdez. Well done, that's a difficult move. And Vicky, a very nice routine and a good start on this event. She's quite happy. That's great to see. And her teammates coming over to congratulate her. After that long wait, you often wonder how the gymnast is going to react, but she did a great job. And we'll look for her scores in just a minute. But up next will be Meredith Garofalo. And as I look at the roster, East Brunswick well positioned in the next couple years with some excellent talent. Only 2 seniors on the team, a junior, 3 sophomores, and 2 freshmen. So Coach Scarano has a foundation here on which there could be some very productive and successful years.
After 3 events, the running total is East Brunswick 75.05.
And you see all the girls gathering around Coach Scarano. They're waiting. And we should have a score in just a moment for Vicky Chan. I'm sure she's a little nervous, having been told that she was going to be on Channel 8. She's probably more nervous now, looking for or waiting for her score. And again in the background, North Brunswick team is on floor X, as well as St. Mary's. So you're hearing some music and some cheering. While we have some time, I'll go back to my discussion with Coach Scarano. She says she's very pleased with the team, felt that their only loss was against a very difficult opponent. I believe it was Bishop R, who may be far and away one of the best teams in the county, maybe in the state. And she really wasn't upset by that loss. She felt that, you know, for a first meet, the girls represented themselves well, and that they would do better as the year progressed, and certainly that seems to be the case. And we have the scores now for Vicky Chan, 7.0 and 6.6. So here is Meredith Garofalo now, second competitor for the Bears. Nice V seat into a split, very difficult move. Strength move. Nice scale there. Oh, leap into a cartwheel. Very nice. Not trick move, but a very pretty artistic move. Meredith setting up now for back walkover. And again, straddles down. It's very solid thus far. Little trouble. Able to hang on though, and that's important. That'll be a slight deduction. And she'll get ready, I think, soon. Nice split leap. And here she goes with her dismount. And a back pike off. Very nice, strong routine by Meredith Garofalo. She's got to be pleased with that. And the really only major break was on the handstand, but she was able to hold on to it and stay on the beam. And she should score well. Monica Bausma will be up next. See Monica setting her board. Again for the mount, and then the coach will pull it away as soon as she mounts the beam. That board must be out of there for safety reasons. While we don't have an official score as of yet, from what we understand, East Brunswick is leading in this tri-meet. Monica now waiting. And generally what the gymnast is doing as they are waiting is they're going through the routines. They know backward and forward, and they try to visualize them in their mind. Each step, each movement, each pass is again reviewed and reviewed again. And that's part of the mental side of this sport. It's obviously a very physical sport, but the mental concentration can be as commanding as the physical side. And a long time for scores for Meredith Garofalo. And finally, it looks like we're going to get some movement. In all fairness to the judges, it's a very difficult task they have at hand. They are trying to watch the routine, and that is not take their eyes off the gymnast. At the same time, write down what they see are the deductions, and not just in terms of a number. So they are not writing -2/10 or -1/10 only. They're also writing down the actual form break or deficiency that they see. And in this way, they can justify or discuss the differences in maybe their score versus another judge's score. So a lot is going on while that judge is observing the routine. Many judges write the routine down, write the actual skill components, and then we'll circle or check where there is a a break in the routine and then go back and deduct from there. So a variety of approaches, but the judge's job is not one to just sit and observe and then make a best guess. This is all pretty well documented and can be looked at by the coach after the meet. And many coaches will do that to see if a gymnast is having major deductions taken for a particular movement or trick, as we call them. And this would then help the coach in her coaching the gymnast during practice and or getting clarification as to why the deductions are happening or to that degree. So a lot goes on from a judging perspective, from a coaching perspective, and as we've talked about, certainly from the gymnast perspective. And now you see the judges again. Now what they're doing is they're really going through the routine, and they're saying, okay, I saw Meredith start off this way with, you know, the VC, and they will go component by component to review what led up to the point of contention that they're discussing and what came after, and maybe discussing the actual deductions in terms of the tenths of a point. And what leads to that again is the fact that they need to be in that 1 point range. And it looks like we finally got this straightened out, hopefully, so that Monica Bausma can get up and on the beam. Again, we're waiting for the scores for Meredith Garofalo, and they are 8.2 and 8.4. And here we go with Monica. Back handspring, very difficult move. You can imagine 4.5 inches and another. Two superior skills. And the real secret on beam, as you see Monica trying to get to the handstand, is pacing. You have to get a certain pace, a certain feel. You can get too fast or too slow, and there's a very nice sequence of movements here. And the judges like to see that originality. But getting back to the pacing issue, if you get ahead of yourself, your hips will then lead, and there's not much that'll keep you on 4.5 inches of wood. And if you play it too cautious, you run into the same problem. You tend to tense up and you can't move, and you find yourself standing on the floor. So Monica finishes up quite well. Very nice routine. She knows she's had a few bobbles, but nothing serious that's going to hurt her too badly. And hopefully we'll get a score before sunrise. And I'm not trying to take exception with the judges, but this has been an unusually long night in terms of gaining scores. Up next will be Lori Herbert. She'll be the last competitor for East Brunswick, as she's been all night. And Lori, in being described to us by her coach, beam is one of her favorite events and one of her strongest events, so we will have a chance to see. I mentioned Dana Monona, who is not competing tonight, and important that she rest her wrist that is injured. And again, it's not that serious, but she should be back shortly in the next week or so. But Dana brings with her an all-around average of 33, which is an excellent all-around scoring average, and certainly adds to the team competition. And looks like we may be getting near a score for Monica Bausma. just from my perspective, having looked at this team tonight as compared to last year's team, you can certainly see the progress despite some of the losses East Brunswick suffered through graduation. But more importantly, I think you see an excellent nucleus for the future. I think East Brunswick should be strong for the next several years, and this year, who knows? Their record last year of 12-1 will be a tough feat to top, but they certainly have the skill and talent. And in high school gymnastics, one of the real keys is avoiding injuries. And so that will be a factor as the season progresses. And I see a score of 7-0 and 6.6 for Monica. And here's Lori Herbert, last competitor up for the Bears, last event of the evening. Nice back walk over down to one knee. And you can see the experience that Lori brings to the beam. One arm back walk over. Very comfortable, very solid. Confidence is so important on this event. 2 nice leaps in a row. Pirouette. She's going to go into 2 back handsprings, I believe. 1 and not set up right. So that'll be a deduction. There she did the 2 back handsprings but fell off again. She knows it. See if she can pull it back together and finish strong. And a beautiful routine going. Needs to keep the composure. As she sets up now for her dismount. Back handspring and a full twist off. Slight hop, but nonetheless a very good routine. Lori Herbert, East Brunswick captain. And we'll see how much those 2 falls cost her in the score. And there isn't much room for error, obviously, on 4.5 inches. So, beam, the toughest event, I think, for women. And East Brunswick has done quite well tonight. And I wouldn't be surprised if Lori loses a full point for those 2 falls.
St. Mary's will now compete on the balance beam. Up for St. Mary's, Jen Rocco, Stephanie Davis.
So after we get Lori Herbert's scores, we'll take a short break, and then we'll come back and wrap up tonight's activities here from East Brunswick High School. And as we have all night, we're again waiting on the judges to finalize a gymnast score. You can see East Brunswick High School cheerleaders who are assisting. They post the scores, serve as runners, that is, providing scores between the judges. You can see the judge to your left, or to the left on the screen. The judge has, with her the New Jersey State High School rules for women's gymnastics. She uses those as a guideline, particularly for the point deductions. And that ties into what we talked about before in terms of a judge's job. Still waiting. That's the head judge, if you will, on the uneven bars. I mean, on the beam. She's the one we're waiting for. While we're waiting, let me give you the scores of the other gymnasts in the event, in this event rather, for East Brunswick. Vicky John had a 7.0 and a 6.6. Meredith Garofalo an 8.2 and an 8.4. Monica Bausma 7.0 and a 6.6. And Lori Herbert. Hopefully we'll see a score for Lori in just a moment. I think I see the sun coming out. Dave Ambrosi, our director here, is saying no. Here we go. 8.8, 8.8. So you can see that those two falls by Lori Herbert cost her probably a full point. So those scores would have been in the at least 9.0s. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with the final here in this tri-meet. That is between East Brunswick, North Brunswick, and St. Mary's in just a moment. Well, as you see them taking apart the gym, obviously the meet has concluded and we have the final score. East Brunswick comes out on top, 98.05. North Brunswick was second with 86.70, and St. Mary's finished third with a 35.55 score. So East Brunswick picks up 2 victories because it was a tri-meet, and they improved their record to 3-1. And so the Lady Bears come away successful tonight. And again, we encourage you to come out and watch this team. A lot of good gymnasts and a lot of excitement is in store. So everyone with Channel 8, we want to thank you and say have a good evening.